What's up, everybody? I'm
Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite, and today we're going to be diving back into business credit. So we started our first scopes talking about business credit building, mapping out the exact steps for you to build business credit, getting credit for your EIN that's not linked to your Social Security number, without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, and we talked a lot about it. And that was months ago. Then we dove in, we spent month plus talking about financing. Then we've talked about credit scores, business credit scores, consumer credit scores, bank credit scores. And I've had so many people here on Periscope, hey, what's up, Prince? Welcome. Talk to me and ask and say, listen, I want to dive more into business credit. I've been getting all kinds of emails, comments, and hello, how you doing? Welcome. Everybody wants to dive more into business credit. A lot of people have questions. A lot of people have inquiries. A lot of people want to learn more. Afternoon. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend the next 3-4 weeks here just diving back into business credit. We're going to decode this entire process. I'm going to map out everything you need to know to build your business credit. We're going to tie it in with real business credit report reviews, where we're going to be looking at real reports to see what happens there. And we're going to show you real examples of how this works. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's awesome. Looking forward to partnering up. Good. I'm looking forward to working with you. So everybody, I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate the likes, appreciate the shares, appreciate the love. It lets me know I'm on the right track. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to map this thing out. I'm actually going to show you on the whiteboard the overview map of building business credit. And then in the weeks to come, we're going to dive in and decode this at a level that we never have. We're going to have a lot of people on here sharing their success. We're going to look and see what this looks like on real business credit reports. I'm going to show you actual approvals from vendors, etc., so you can see what these approvals look like. We're going to dive in and look at real results that people have gotten through this process. But most importantly, I'm going to help answer any and all questions that you have along the way. So any questions you have about business credit building, as we go through this process, I'm going to be able to answer for you and get it to a point where you can get out there and have success on your own. Somebody's going crazy with the love button. 2 people are. I appreciate that. So that's my goal. My goal is not just to teach you something that sounds good in concept. It's to get you out there getting the results that a lot of other people are getting with business credit. And so we're going to revisit this because a lot changes from time to time, and we're going to be able to go over stuff now that 3-4 months ago when we first started on Periscope that we didn't know, that things have changed, that new vendors have popped up, all different types of things that we're going to be diving into and decoding here as we dive into the scopes to come. So hello, I've learned a lot from you. I appreciate that. Well, remember, the knowledge is one thing, the action is what's important. So my job is to give you everything I can to teach you everything I know about this process, and then it only works for you if you actually take the action. And that's what I love, is hearing all of your success stories here in our live stream, on our live Facebook, as well as on comments to our YouTube videos, emails, etc. That's what keeps me going. So let's dive in. So what we're going to talk about to start with today is I'm just going to give you an exact map of what this business credit building process looks like. We're not going to do a really long scope today, and then I'm going to answer any and all questions that you have. So any questions you have about this process, let me know, and then we're going to dive in and decode this at a deeper level. Things have changed on the business address that you need. Things have changed with new vendor accounts popping up. Things have changed now with being able to get auto vehicle financing without a personal guarantee and credit check. More cash credit sources have now shown up. Hello, welcome, and thanks, guys, again for the love. I appreciate that. So much stuff changes in this world that I cannot just talk about a topic once and never revisit it. Because if I did, then you're going to be working off of bad information. So again, now that so many things have changed relative to all these things, 411.com, they've made a change. So there's so many changes here that we're going to be going over and talking about. Will you be answering questions here or on another forum? Right here, I will be answering questions in real time. So any questions you have, go ahead and type them in. I'm going to get to them. If people type a lot of stuff in, Periscope makes all your comments goes away, so I might ask you to retype it. Thank you very much for the share, Prosperous. I appreciate that. But yes, I will be answering all of your questions here. And again, keep in mind, this is an overview of the process. In the weeks to come, I'm going to decode this and talk deeper about each aspect of the process. That's when we'll be diving in and probably answering a lot of your questions anyways, but I'll be here to answer your questions today as we go too. So let's dive in. Let's go to
we talk about business credit building process, we're really ultimately talking about 5 different steps. There's 5 ultimate steps to this process that you really need to know and understand to be effective and to be able to effectively build your business credit. Okay, so step 1 here, and the very first step, is credibility. This is all about what lenders and credit issuers see about your business to be able.
So think of it like this. When you build business credit, you're not using a personal credit report. So they can't go off your personal history at all. So they're going to go off what's on your business credit report. Well, if you have a new business credit report and you don't have much on there, well, then there's nothing they can go off of there either. So that means all they're going to be able to do is go off your application. So as you build initial business credit, what's on your application becomes very, very important. And as you get business loans, it becomes even more important. And that's why credibility is really essential to get business loans and to get business credit. Because if you don't have a credible business, then a lot of computers will automatically decline you for credit and loans. So my goal for you is to get automated approvals, which means just because your application has a series of checks in the lender or credit issuer's eyes, then that then opens up the door for you to be able to get financing and credit automatically in a lot of cases because you've met all the online criteria. And we've all seen this before, right? We've all applied for credit cards and got an immediate decline or approval online when we did it. That's because there's no manual review. Computers are making the decisions. My goal and our goal together has to be to get you approved automatically without even
business credibility, and we're going to dive into that in the weeks to come. But ultimately, it comes down to having a credible business address, a credible business phone number, having a legitimate website and email address, having your name not be on any restricted industry list, having the right entity set up, having the right licensing, and having your business easy to find or your listings congruent. This is a brief overview of credibility, and we're going to dive in more in depth next week to talk about a lot of things, including a lot of things that have changed here that you should know about. Some things that aren't restrictions that used to be restrictions, and some things are restrictions now. We'll even dive in and talk more about entity restrictions in different industries that are looked at as restrictive. So after you've set up your business credibly,
every time you fill out an application for credit or financing, what you need to do is you need to make sure that that application, that every line item on that application reflects that you're credible. That's the easy thing to do, is when you're filling out that application, think about it. Is what you're putting on there going to reflect that you're credible? Does it reflect that you're a credible business? So for example, if you leave the website field blank, does that reflect credibility? No, it obviously doesn't. If you're asking for an address and you're using a home address or entering a home phone number, does that reflect you're credible? Probably not as much as a business phone. So if you just stop and think on every line item in an application that you're filling out and say, does what I'm putting here make it reflective that I'm credible? And if your answer is no when you correct it, you're probably going to be safe. But if you say, yeah, this makes me look credible, I'm good. It says business website, I typed in my business website, my website looks legit, I'm good. Well, then you can move on to the next field. So always remember when you're looking at an application for that, I always will tell you that this drives my wife crazy, because when I fill out any kind of credit application, I literally look at that thing and scrutinize every single line item. And she will be like, what are you doing? It is asking for your name. And I'd be like, I know, but there could be a deeper meaning. I'm trying to figure out why they're asking me these questions so I can make sure that I'm not going to put an answer here that would then get me declined. Okay? So that's what you need to do when you're filling out an actual business credit or for loans. Now, the next step is after you've made sure your business is set up credibly, you can go to creditsuite.com/reports and pull your credit report with these 3 reporting agencies, Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Experian and Equifax both have a business or commercial division, and you can access it right from their website. And the reason you want to do this is because you want to fix any inaccuracies you may have on your credit report. Now, you can go to iUpdate and get set up with Dun & Bradstreet. You can also get set up with Experian. Seeing if they have a record with you or not, and getting set up, you're going to save yourself some time, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people think that they don't have business credit, and some of them do, and they have derogatory items. If you followed us on these live streams, you already know this, because we pulled credit reports for people that say, I don't think I have a credit report, and then we pull their credit report, and then we realize that they have a really low score because they have one old collection account. We've even seen multiple cases on here where we've had people that we pulled accounts that they don't even recognize. After my last stream, we got an email from somebody that said, man, I don't even know what these accounts are. And we've talked about the process of disputing them. If you find information on your credit report that's accurate or inaccurate or negative, then what you really want to consider doing is disputing it directly with Equifax, Experian, and Dun & Bradstreet. The reporting agencies are very good with helping you correct any inaccurate information. It's much easier to get this done than you're ever going to find that it actually is on consumer credit. So get your credit reports and dispute any negative items that are on there. It's really the second step. This way, you're starting from a good report, something that has nothing or only positive. So after you're set up credibly, make sure you get those business credit reports. And again, we'll talk about these. We'll look at real reports in the scopes to come. The next step is, once you know that you don't have anything derogatory on your report, start getting approved for vendor accounts. Now, before we get to this step, I'm going to probably add 3 to 5 more trade lines that you'll be able to actually get even as a startup. But you need to have 5 accounts. So once you get approved for these type of sources that will not that will approve you even as a startup, and will approve you even if you have nothing on your report now, and they won't ask you for a social security number. I think Gimplers will, but you can leave it off the application. Then you get 5 of these accounts, you can move to the next step. So the key here is to make sure your business is credible, set up and access your business credit reports. Get 5 of these kind of accounts. Don't give them your social security number, forcing them to pull and put it on your business credit report, not your consumer credit report. Then you're getting credit without a personal guarantee. Once these are poured, then you'll have an established business credit report and score. And with an established business credit report and score, then what you have is, then you have the ability to actually move on and start getting what are called store credit accounts. So a lot of people are coming in right now. So let me kind of rehash where we've been. So the first thing to keep in mind is that you're going to build your business credibly, okay? When we talk about building your business credit and the steps, make sure that everything you put on an application reflects that your business is credible. Does it reflect that you're a credible business with no website on the application? No, it doesn't. Does it reflect that you're a credible business if you're entering a home phone number on an application instead of a business phone number? No, it doesn't. Make sure every line item reflects that your business is set up credibly. Next week, we'll decode this and a lot more. Get your business credit reports. You can go to creditsuite.com/reports. We have quick links to all 3 reporting agencies where you'll then be able to pull your business credit reports, see what's on there. If you have negative items, dispute them. Experian and Equifax let you do this through their credit monitoring services. iUpdate does this for free through a service they call iUpdate. Or Dun & Bradstreet does it through a service they call iUpdate. Thanks for the loves, guys. Thanks for the share. I appreciate it. Next step, get 5 of these kind of accounts. In the weeks that follow, I'm going to be giving you a lot more than 5. I'm probably going to be talking about 10 or 15 different vendor credit accounts that you're going to be able to get. This is just a quick overview of these accounts. What's unique about vendor accounts is 2 different things that you should know about. And they're: number 1, they give you credit when you have no credit already. They'll give you business credit when you have none. And 2, they'll do it even as a startup business. That's what good vendor accounts do. They help you start a business credit profile and score even when you have none established, and they'll do it even as a startup, and they report these accounts to the business credit reporting agency. Look at this, and let me give you an example. If you go into Staples and you apply for a consumer credit card and you have no consumer credit report established, they'll deny you. The same thing happens in the business world. If you go to Staples and try to get approved with no business credit established, they'll deny you. So before you get store credit, cash credit, fleet credit, all the stuff that we want, you have to build an initial credit profile and score with these 3 reporting agencies. How do you get credit when you have no credit?
That is vendor credit accounts. That's the key, is the vendor credit accounts will give you credit when you have no credit. And then that's really the key to giving you an established credit profile and score. And then with an established credit profile and score, you use it to move to step 4, which is where you're actually able to come in here and start getting store credit card accounts. Now, these will require no social security number. You leave the social security number off the application. You are not letting them pull your consumer credit report. No consumer credit pull, no social, means no personal guarantee. They report the credit to the business credit reporting agencies, and then what happens is you start to get very high limit store credit cards. So if we look at this, here's an idea of real business credit approvals that we're seeing. We can see these are much higher than what you'll find with consumer credit, right? Have you ever gotten a $40,000 Best Buy credit card? Probably not. Have you ever gotten a $20,000 Costco or credit card? 12.5 at Apple? Maybe 12.5, probably not 20 or 40, because you don't need 40 grand at Best Buy, but a business does. So since you need more credit for a business than an individual, then when you get to step 4, you're going to see much higher credit accounts than you'll ever have seen before in the consumer world. Once you have about 10 total accounts, and sometimes it's 10 with some of these sources, sometimes it's 14 or 15, then you start to get approved for what are called commercial cards and fleet credit cards. Cash credit cards, Visa cards, MasterCards, Amex, a little harder. You usually have to have a lot of revenue or time in business for Amex, but it's possible to get there. You're more than likely going to get Celebration. What's up, man? You're going to get approved for right here. Oh, and welcome, Nails by Vanna. You're here again. What's up? Welcome. It says your first day on Periscope, so welcome, even though I know you've been on our live streams before. Whose credit was that? What are you talking about? Go ahead and give me, whose credit? We've got 2 people here that follow us on Periscope, Christine and Mark, that we track their approvals. And anybody else that you want us to track yours, we'll add it to the board. But they let us pull their reports and verify this, and they tell us on an ongoing basis the actual approvals. Glad you're doing this. I follow your system and ran into some weird issues with net 30s. Well, Prince, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about credibility. Then we're going to talk about reports. Then we're going to talk. So in the next few weeks, we're going to talk more about vendor credit accounts, and any questions you have, I'm going to make sure they're answered. So to answer your question, these are 2 people that follow us on Periscope. I haven't heard from either one of them today, so I'm not sure if they're with us. But they'll be with us in the weeks to come, and they'll be able to validate their actual approvals. They tell us of all the new approvals, and they let us verify it with actual credit reports as well. So then you start to get these kind of high limit store credit accounts. Then you move to these kind of credit accounts with about 10 to 14 accounts reporting. Cash credit cards, Visa cards, MasterCards. Christine just got one. She got right here a BJ's, which is a $7,000 cash credit card. She's just got approved with Ford with no personal guarantee or personal credit check. She just got a fleet credit card with 40 grand. I was approved for my LLC today. Was I wrong for setting up my business using my physical address? No, you're fine there. But if you do get a virtual address, what you want to do is just change those records so they're consistent. And we'll talk about this next week, actually. We're going to talk about your listings being consistent next week, but you're fine. You're just going to need to probably want to change it before you start applying. So in an overview, guys, that's the step. Build your credibility, step 1. Make sure that your business reflects that you're credible on your application, because you're getting credit when you have none. So this application means everything. Step 2, Christine with my cell. What's up? I never knew. So Christine has a difference. So somebody was asking whose credit is this? I never knew is actually her Periscope, how she's coming up right now. She's with us today, so she's the one that actually got those approvals. Mark is sometimes with us here as well, too. Step 2. Get your reports. If you have anything negative, dispute them. Step 3, get approved for vendor credit accounts. I've got about 5. I'm going to go over about 10 to 15 here in the weeks to come. Then the next step is after you get those. These take about 30 to 90 days to report, 60 days on average. Then you can start to get store credit. With store credit, it takes about 60 to 90 days to get about 5 of these accounts. Then you can move on to fleet and cash credit. You can get here conservatively in 4 to 6 months. How fast? Depends on this. If you apply for a lot of accounts in this step and you get 10 trade lines in this step, then you'll often have enough trade lines to possibly even skip store credit and go here. But what determines how long it takes you to get to Visa, MasterCard credit, fleet credit, is all based on how many trade lines you have. So how many trade lines did you get here? How many trade lines did you get here? Did you stop in between? How long did it take these accounts to report? The reporting of these accounts, how long it takes is what determines how long it takes to get here. So I always recommend that when you're building vendor or credit accounts, get 7, get 10, get as many as possible. That way they report as quickly as possible, and the faster they report, the faster you get here. When you get here, get 5, get 10. The more total accounts you have reporting, the faster you get here. So this is one of the benefits we'll talk about in the weeks to come of building business credit, is you can make this progress really quick. You know, Christine, after she got her initial vendor credit accounts, these are approvals she's gotten in the 120 days since. So within 4 months after, these are the approvals she had. Now, within about 3 months, she got these. About 90 days. But now we're going on about another month, and you start to see her approvals climbing. She's now getting multiple $40,000 accounts 4 months into after she got her vendor accounts. So if it took you 60 days to get your vendor credit accounts approved to start to get to this kind of store credit limits here, and you can see these are what Mark got initially with approvals, then you start to jump to these higher limit store credit accounts. So again, this is exactly what we'll be talking about in the weeks to come. I'm going to answer every question you have. Next week, we're going to talk more about credibility. A lot of stuff's changed. 411 has changed since we last talked about. Business addresses has changed, where home addresses are now being a little bit more accepted than they ever have before. Christine wants to report AutoZone credit of $2,000. Okay, so I'm going to add AutoZone on here, Christine, right now. Okay, so Christine just got an AutoZone for $2,000. I'm running out of room here. AutoZone, and she got 2,000 approval. So that's how it works, guys. On these live streams, if you guys give me updates, then what we do is we actually will keep track of these approvals, and then we go through and verify it on the credit report. In about 60 days, that'll report in the credit report, and we're able to pull it. So this is what we're going to do in the weeks to come. Next week, we're going to talk all about credibility. We'll talk about business credit reports. We'll talk about vendor. We'll see what this looks like on real credit reports. We're going to go through and answer every single question you have. That's exactly what we're going to be doing over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's all business credit. I'm all yours live. The benefit of having this live is that, yeah, I'm going to go through and do some cool stuff on the whiteboard, and you get to see me and hang out, which is cool. But the bigger benefit is you get to ask me questions in real time and get real engagement. So as we go through these, make sure you have your questions ready, whatever problems you're running into. Let me help you through this process, not just some guy that's doing YouTube videos, as I have a lot out there, but somebody that's actually putting out content that will stop and say, well, here's what that problem is caused by. Here's how to fix it. And that's my goal, is to help you not just learn this, but actually apply it and start getting real results. And that's exactly what we'll do in the weeks to come. So the whole purpose of today was just to give you an overview of the credit building process. I heard you say virtual address doesn't work with DMB, but works for creditors. Wouldn't they find out? It's not a problem of having a virtual address and them finding out or not. Guys, you have to understand, somebody saying, can you help me if I'm Canadian? Yes, if you have a U.S. business. Here's the deal with virtual addresses. Virtual addresses aren't some secret thing that you're trying to hide from a creditor. When you do stuff like that, you get caught. You can't do stuff like CPN numbers and shelf corporations and all the stupid crap people try to do to fool lenders and credit issuers. No offense, guys, you're not smarter than the however many people work at Bank of America that are trying to figure out exactly what you're doing. They're smarter than us. They know what you're doing. Virtual addresses aren't some secret thing that you don't want creditors to know about. Virtual addresses are real addresses. Okay, if you looked, we're going to have a actual webinar with a company that owns a longest-standing virtual address company, even older than Regis. And what they'll tell you is they have millions. Regis has like 14 million customers that actually rent real business space from them, that walk into their offices, that have real physical offices there. The reason virtual addresses work is that
they're legitimate. They're real. People actually operate out of those offices. Yes, some people only get mail there. Yes, some people only have offices they go to once in a while. And yes, people have full-time offices out of these same companies as well. Like I said, I think Regis is like 14 million customers. So virtual addresses work for that reason. Now, if you're asking, well, wouldn't they find out? Well, Dun & Bradstreet doesn't care. They just need a real physical address to get a DUNS number. Your credit issuers don't care as well, but having a real business address is better for you than using a home address, or absolutely better than a UPS. But home addresses are now becoming more accepted, which we'll talk about next week. So I'm going to wrap this up for today. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of the business credit building process. Next week, what we're going to do is no problem. I appreciate the question. I appreciate the engagement. What we're going to do next week is dive in and talk about exactly in depth what you need to do to make sure your business is set up credibly, the changes with virtual addresses and 411 listings. I even have a new virtual address company I'll be talking about. All that kind of stuff we'll be diving into next week. And in the weeks to come, then and welcome, Facelift Promo. Welcome to Periscope. It's your first day. I'm glad to have you. In the weeks to come on here, no problem. I was a little nervous. Don't be nervous. If you have questions, then let me know. Every week we're doing this in real time so I can help you through this process and coach you through. And in the weeks to come, I'm going to decode every step of this business credit building process. You could take action then. So this next week we talk about credibility. Then you got a week to get all the stuff done. The next week we talk about reports. You got a week to get it done. The next week we talk about vendor credit accounts. You got a week to get it done. And then that way, if you run into problems in that step, you can come on the live stream, tell me, and I'll help coach you through the process in real time. That's what's cool about live video. So I'm going to wrap up for today. I look forward to seeing you guys next week when we talk more about credibility, and I'll make sure all your questions are answered. Shan says, I have an appointment tomorrow with one of your reps. Looking forward to the call. Great. Whoever you have an appointment with, let me know if you remember who it is. But good. Our team takes good care of you guys. We have all different kind of options, weekly payments, monthly payments, payments where you get a discount. I'm not on here to sell our product and services, okay? I think they kind of do that themselves. The bottom line is I'm going to help coach you through this process for free, but without a doubt, if you're working with our team inside now, then as Christine will tell you, she went 2 years trying to struggle to do this on her own, hired 3 other companies, then got with us and got all those approvals within 90 days. It comes down to the fact that we just take years of the process and condense it to months, so we can help you, or you can work with us this way either way. Before it's cheaper than Yext, sign up. Is cheaper than Yext. Is it recorded? Give me 1 second and I'll tell you where it is real quick. Okay, so sign up. You said SYNUP. Okay, I wrote that down. I'm going to check it out for you guys for next week. I appreciate the recommendations. And somebody said, is this recorded? All of our scopes are recorded. Let me give you. Go to creditsuite.com/Periscope for a free guide on business credit building. You can go to creditsuite.com, just scope /scope. And creditsuite.com/scope gives you all of our recordings. And if you ever want to talk to our team, go to creditsuite.com/consult. And then from there, you can schedule time. Talking to Lane. Lane is awesome. I've worked with him for years. And then if you ever want tips, ongoing video tips that I only deliver through text, you can text the word tips to this number, 855-982-1820. You can text the word tips to 855-982-1820. If you do that, you'll not only get emails from us, but you'll get ongoing videos that we send you every week through text as well. To getting approved for bank loans and for business credit. Look forward to talking with you then, everybody. Thanks. Have a great day.